Good evening. I'm John Hull, founding principal of H3 Studio. It's indeed a pleasure and an honor to be here tonight to share with you some of the work that we've done and some of our approach and how we would like to begin to work with you. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the entire H3 Studio planning team, which incorporates an enormous amount of disciplines. So far tonight, we've really enjoyed the discussions. They've been very interesting. There's some been very hard questions and some debate in our little booth there, and I really would encourage you to come back, and we'll stay on talking about this. This is really a passion of ours, and we're very honored to be here with you to work on the project. H3 Studio is a St. Louis-based planning and design firm with projects completed throughout the country. We pride ourselves on developing achievable and implementable plans. A lot of our work, we start with how will we implement the plan, and that begins actually very important for us. Next one. Our objective is to create really sustainable, diverse communities. Our approach is holistic. We start from, again, day one, we need to join with you. We believe entirely in partnering with you and integrating all the disciplines necessary to develop your project. And we also believe in really trying to immerse ourselves in the place in which we work and to really understand the unique character and the sense of place. And obviously, you're one of the most authentic cities around today, and we would begin to embrace that. So we've developed a project team that we hope to bring those two components together, the holistic manner of working as well as the understanding of New Orleans. And what's essential in here is that combination of the experience from around the country and other places tying to the experience here. And the project manager for our team is Derek, who's over here. 10 years of planning and design experience in New Orleans, only recently moved up to St. Louis, which was very nice for us, but his wife got a fellowship at Washington University. So that he will bring and be the on-the-grounds person who has the very deep knowledge of your community to work. I will also be bringing some post-disaster recovery planning experience that we went through in St. Louis, as well as the other project experience. But ultimately, what's going to be vitally important is our approach and how we want to begin to work with you. So let me run quickly through the team here. This is myself, John Hull. I've had 20 years of planning and urban design experience. I was director of urban design for the city of St. Louis, and that was relevant here only because of the 93 and 95 year floods that we had at that time. And there was a whole section of the southern portion of the city that was completely flooded, and I led the recovery planning efforts for St. Louis through that, and I can speak more about that. I've also led two of the major planning processes, one for downtown St. Louis and then for our major central park. Both of those planning processes were community planning processes, 2 years long to develop a consensus plan, one resulting in $3 billion of investment in downtown and another $100 million of investment in Forest Park. I'll be partnering with Derek. And as I said to you, Derek has 10 years of planning and design experience here. He's also provided consultation planning on the Bernard Parish Recovery Plan, and he has led the Washington University's outreach down in New Orleans. We'll be complemented by Laura Lyon, who's Vice President of H3. Laura's particularly experienced 15 years of developing planning processes, community outreach and engagement. She'll be monitoring and developing that process and the diaspora outreach, as well as the day-to-day content. We also have Brian at the back. Brian is born and bred from Baton Rouge, and he'll be our on-the-ground lead consultant. We'll be supported by the H3 Studio staff, And we have a large set of consultants that we can be drawing from for this project. Many of these are local. I'll run very quickly through some of the applicable project experience. The flood of 93 in St. Louis, you can see that. We've developed a regional plan, greenway and park plan through that process. Changing completely to the neighborhood scale. In the 93 flood, all our neighborhoods in the southern portion of the city were flooded. It doesn't compare to what you are going through, but our restoration plan was a combination of increasing the height of levees, greenways, and restoring the neighborhoods in that area. And 10 years later, they still continuing to do that implementation process. So it takes a long time, and we're very aware of that, but certainly I bring to this project a sensitivity of what it means working at an individual level and a neighborhood level, in fact, to work out how to move forward over the long time that it's going to actually take. A couple of other key projects, the downtown St. Louis project, purely because this was a 2-year public planning process that we achieved complete consensus, established a new public-private partnership that resulted in $3 billion of investment in downtown over 8 years. Changing scale to Pearland, Texas, developing an area around a historic neighborhood, and the sensitivity here, it's an area that continuously floods, and that the hydrology in fact drove the entire planning process. Into Belleville as well, downtown Belleville. This shows a way that we would be integrating neighborhoods with commercial districts and park space and core downtown area. Again, that was driven by a series of floods that occurred within the creek area. So since we, on a district scale, this would be applicable. And then Lafayette Square, which is the city's, St. Louis City's first historic district, with infill housing after neighborhood planning and historic park. All right, so our planning objective, just to end off, is really, in fact, to plan with the neighborhoods and residents. We feel that we are joining your team and we're joining your process. We're highly sensitive. Some of you have got plans already, some of you haven't. We'll be working to bring those who haven't got up and those who have beginning to integrate them. We're not here to rethink all the work that you've done. We're here to synthesize it, integrate it, and move it forward with you. In response, we'll be very responsive to the neighborhood level. It will be open, transparent process with implementation as a goal. We'll start by listening and learning from you. And here we really, the office itself will be a source for the engagement and an information hub. And again, just to reinforce Derek's knowledge of all the previous planning processes, and in his we'll be building upon all of those. And since we're in a citywide planning process, we understand that this is very complex and difficult conditions for everyone, and part of our job will be trying to bring that clarity to the neighborhoods and how that it actually begins to affect you. We're going to run through very quickly the planning approach, and again, this is just straightforward out of the neighborhood planning process, but I want to emphasize the pre-planning. We have to establish a neighborhood committee and district committee that really starts and is a steering committee to our work. We will be reporting to them and actually beginning to work with them. And we'll just run very quickly through that. So again, the planning phase, building the partnerships, outlining the process, looking at pre-existing plans, diaspora outreach, and create the base level of information. To needs assessment, this is pretty straightforward per your neighborhood plan, from a needs to vision and goals, to looking at various rebuilding scenarios, and into implementation strategy, which is absolutely fundamental. So you put it all together, and what's really important is all the circular communication, and that's going to be very fundamental. So we'd like to join your team, to support you in your planning process to rebuild your neighborhoods, districts, and cities. Thank you.